secure a long-term future with this franchise.
Yeah, man, it's been fun. The last 3 years have been really fun and not always easy, but fun and hard. And I've been surrounded by a lot of good teammates and coaches that have helped me realize some of my potential, and hopefully there's still a lot more there. But yeah, I've had a ton of fun and winning in this city and winning for these fans, and something that I've this offseason's been so cool to go around and just the amount of people that have been really heartfelt about what winning here, even though we didn't win the Super Bowl, but winning the playoff game and making it to the playoffs, how heartfelt they've been, and saying thank you and all that. And you're like, whoa, I'm just playing football, but people are obviously really passionate here, and that's been the most rewarding part, is playing for the fan base here that cares so much, and the city that cares so much, and being able to be a part of that.
You talked about what is the latest with the contract? Just to follow up.
Yeah, there's been discussions, but I'll leave it at that.
I'm still confident that it'll get done at some point.
Yeah, you hope so, but I'm not in control of that.
Kind of same.
I have actually a few takeaways from that. First and foremost, touching back on you Detroit fans being the best in the game. That's what he was talking about when it comes winning here in Detroit, what it means. And we will relay back to that. I didn't know the second part was in there. All right, and I pride myself. I'm going to do it against me. I pride myself on reading the emotional intelligence.
Yes.
All right, and if I had a rewind button to go to a certain particular spot, when he was asked about that contract, I saw a bit of a smirk there.
Yeah.
Me and the way I perceive that is something might be coming soon.
He's getting paid.
I'm talking about soon, because I've been the one saying come next year. The little smirk you gave when they're discussing it, I feel like maybe post-draft or training camp, the smirk gave it away. Something's coming soon.
He's getting paid. He's getting his money. Amon-Ra's getting his money. They've talked about it all the time. They like their guys. They know their guys. They want to keep their guys. And Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown have been two of their most important guys. So keeping them in town is exactly what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are all about. So, yeah, they're going to pay him, and he's going to be the quarterback for the Lions for the foreseeable future. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Honestly, there's no fighting at this point. The smirk gave it all. He's going to deal. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm assuming that the 3-4 years. But I've already been on record. This is even during the season. I remember the day it happened because it kind of clicked in my head as we were at Dispo at Hazel Park. And I was like, yo, he could still get this deal and still get paid.
Yeah.
It's just and we could still be successful. It's just going to be those first 2 years because of how these contracts are kind of backloaded. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think this shuts any window or anytime soon. Maybe, further back into the situation, you start the griping and pissing and moaning. But as of now, I've already been on record, the window's here. And as long as they fulfill that Ben Johnson spot with somebody who is familiar with the concepts that work for JG, then, we should be in good company. And they've had somebody in the range for a while now with, the hell is his name? The pass game coordinator.
Terry Strand.
Thank you. We also got to say, too, he was getting interviews for OC. Thank God he's staying. And maybe Ben just wants to stay in OC. It seems that way.
Maybe.
Chris.
But, see, to me, I'm looking at this as the 12% rule, which is valid. It has validity to it. But the flip side of it is that this guy, Brad Holmes, has shown every single draft class he will find not only value, but high-end value, high-end impact players. I mean, players that every year are competing amongst the top rookies of their class. Every single season, this guy is doing that. So the flip side of it is, well, yes, ideally you don't want to pay a quarterback more than 12% of your salary cap. If you have a guy in place like Brad Holmes that is able to continuously find gem after gem after gem in the draft, then you can be the exception to the rule. And so I think the window is open.
So the exception to the rule, we've been that because he has been, per a salary cap space, one amongst the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks. The thing that Brad has had, though, is those multiple draft picks. Along with Jared Goff came those 2 first-rounders, or that's the 1 first-rounder that we cooked in. Oh, no, it was 2, actually.
2 top 10s.
Yeah. So that we cooked into more. That we don't have moving forward. However, as you said, though, Brad still has continued to hit as it comes later on in the draft. Second-rounders, third-rounders, the Malcolm Rodriguez's, the James Houstons. In a world where that sounds insane, we do exist in a world where Brad Holmes is he's going crazy.
It's Brad Holmes,
going
man.
crazy.
That's what he does. He swings for the fences in the draft, and normally he knocks it out of the park. And it's going to keep happening when you have a guy like that in the front office that can consistently replenish your teams with top-tier talent. You don't got to worry about getting bogged down with contracts like, oh, it might not work out. I don't want to pull the trigger here because maybe that hampers our future. Our future is good as long as we have Brad Holmes at the podium with picks in his hands, because he's going to continue to get us top-tier talent through the draft to insulate the rest of our team. I'm not worried about the fucking Mike Greenberg. Eat shit again, buddy. Like, the window's not closed. It's just getting open. It's just here. The Lions are going to be here for a while because Brad Holmes goes out there and consistently makes moves in the drafts that other GMs and all the analysts are like, oh, I don't know about that. Oh, running back here. Oh, guess what? He turns out to be one of the best players in the draft. And, oh, guess what? That's consistently happened for 3 years now. So the track record's getting there. I'm not worried about it as long as Brad Holmes is there making the decisions.
And
that's just
on
what
top
needs
of
to
that,
happen.
too, you're looking at, okay, let's take the worst case scenario where Brad Holmes is going in a draft class with 4 picks. Like, you expect probably one really good player and maybe even 2 other contributing players, rotational pieces. Like, if you give him even a small chamber of bullets, he will make those hits count. That's what he's shown. There's nothing to trust that. And then again, you tackle on free agency. He's been very responsible with his money. So when you have those 2 things working in tandem, you can afford to maybe, I don't want to say overpay because Goff's earned the money he's gotten, but you can afford to have that kind of price tag when you have those 2 other things working in your favor. So I don't see any reason why Lions fans should look at a window as anything but just cracking open.
I mean, listen. I don't want to I don't want to be the wet blanket, but like I will say there is the window. There is the window. I don't know if I see it as just cracking open though, because Ben Johnson is a huge piece of this. It's just that's the piece that you need to be fulfilled. And again, I think you got Tanner in the wings where you'll at least be able to hang on, right? Like I don't think it ever will completely shut because he's been rooted in this scheme.
At this point, it's 3 seasons, right? He's been here. Like, I mean,
that's
Strand
or
a
think
Strand. So that's, I think, 3 seasons. So including this upcoming season is what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that'll be
For me, that's more than enough time to get, obviously, maybe not to Ben Johnson's level, but to get to a good enough level to get familiar enough with the system. If you are at your job for 3 years, like, come on, you're gonna be at least decent. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be at least decent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be the wet blanket. I don't want to be the wet blanket. I am fairly confident Tanner Strand will have a reasonable understanding of the concepts that helps JG work and the concepts that help this run scheme work. And on top of that, you just have which I continue to grow after this draft too, one of the best offensive lines in the league.
I mean, you got to be an idiot to be around the genius of Ben Johnson and how this offense has been working, seeing what's been working, and be like, I'm going to change it up a little bit. Like, no, he knows what Jared Goff likes to do.
But that's what happens.
He knows the strengths of this
We've
offense.
had Ermanni who's gone through that change with Barry Sanders. That works.
Yeah,
and
well,
guess what happens?
You got a
guy. Oh yeah, that's true. He
That's
ends
what
up
I'm
being an
saying.
idiot.
You got to be an
He's
idiot.
Like, you know
to do
what?
that. And I don't think Tanner Strand is an idiot.
Let's throw a fullback back here.
Yeah.
And Barry's like, I retire.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And another part of it,
he's
too,
not an idiot. He's been called a genius for a reason. He's been called the heir apparent for a reason.
He's not been called.
They think very highly of this guy, obviously,
but he
to
hasn't been a
give
genius.
him more and more expectations, to give him more and more responsibilities in the offense. Like, he is the heir apparent. This is the guy that's going to be next.
That part's true.
If Ben Johnson decides to leave.
Nick?
Yeah, to me, it's all about Brad Holmes continuing to draft elite talent. From his first draft, we saw Sewell, St. Brown, and then you could even throw Laporta on there this year. All pro type talent. These are the guys that get you to an NFC championship game. These are the guys that you have to hit on if you're going to be paying your quarterback. So I'm all in with Goff getting his bag, which he deserves. We've waited for playoff wins in this city, and we got them. Sadly, with a 17-point lead, we also saw a collapse in the NFC Championship game. But we still won those 2 playoff games. Cannot take that away from him. I have the highest expectations of the Lions this season to get to a Super Bowl and win that thing. And with him leading us, you have to have confidence in your quarterback if you're going to give him $50 million. I believe this organization does. And with that being said, we know Brad Holmes is going to cook around this time of the year.
Let him cook.
This season is when I do want to see him maybe give up a pick or two to fill some holes and do take that next step forward at the deadline and go for that Super Bowl. Because we saw it last year kind of not return with a second cornerback or with another edge rusher. But
and great.
I want to see him.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.